Okay, we are back. Looks like we got cut off there. I didn't realize how long I'd been talking there in the first part. So we're going to split this broadcast up into two parts. This is part two of the news roundup for May the 22nd, 2012 through May the 27th, 2012. Today is May the 27th, 2012. It's about 2 o'clock local time. I'm Michael Gillum, and this is Nightwatchman News. So let's continue with our stories. We were talking about NATO maps the Afghan withdrawal with implicit admission of failure, which is a article by John Glazer over at antiwar.com, and that was published on May the 21st, 2012. The point I was trying to making in the previous part of this broadcast is that Barack Obama wants to declare mission accomplished, that the war on terror is now effectively finished, but we still have to give up our freedoms. We still have to give up our dignity at the airport to get groped by the TSA, not just in the airport, but now on buses and now on highways with the Viper program. We have to give up our constitutional liberties just to continue this war on terror that he says is now over. We're never going to get out of Afghanistan. Hamid Karzai, the president of Afghanistan, this week said that we were probably going to stay in Afghanistan until 2024. So that would have been 21 years of American soldiers inside Afghanistan. So there truly is no end in sight. This is the war that will never end, and we will use Afghanistan as a launch pad to attack all of the surrounding countries. China is right next door. Pakistan's right next door. Iran's right next door. I mean, this is all part of a strategic world takeover by the globalists who are manipulating our military into attacking innocent people and carrying on these unjust wars. And it has to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if you and I take action, get informed, and learn about these items so that we can attack these monsters. Okay, so we may not have time to go through all of our news items, but you can certainly go to nightwatchmannews.com and check out everything that I've posted there, and I think you'll come away being informed. Okay, let's talk about our next item. The DEA, excuse me, the DEA wants to track your license plate, and you may already be tagged. This is from Reason.com. It's an article by J.D. Seal, and it was published on May the 22nd, 2012. So this is happening in my home state. This is happening in Utah. They are putting in cameras that will tag your license plate, cameras that will keep track of every single license plate going through the I-15 corridor here in Utah, just in case, just to keep us safe. The problem is that the DEA hasn't even said what this problem is that they're trying to combat. I mean, they've said that in the past they've used this technology to track people that have kidnapped children and people that are selling drugs, but they're not specific about the numbers of people that have been captured using this technology. They just want to put it in there, and they've asked Congress for the money, and Congress is basically given them the funding. And now Congress is saying, after they've given them the funding, well, wait a minute, what are you going to use this for? Could it be used against innocent people? Well, yeah, says the DEA. We're just going to go ahead and keep track of everybody, just in case. And then if we need to access that information, well, it's there for us. So this is another invasion of our privacy. I mean, I can't even drive down my interstate here in my home state, which is basically this interstate drives through the middle of nowhere, and they want to police the middle of nowhere. They want to police the middle of Utah, which is just a bunch of sagebrush and red rocks and maybe some jackrabbits, but that's about it. And they want to keep track of everybody that passes through there because they see that land as being their property. And They're just attacking the privacy rights of Americans, and that's another thing that has to stop. That's another thing that we have to be aware of. So I'll continue following the story of the DEA tracking us here in Utah. Okay, our next item is going to be a very important news story by Declan McCullough over at CNET News. And it was published on May the 22nd, 2012. The FBI quietly forms a secretive net surveillance unit. And if you visit the article, you see a gigantic facility in Quantico, Virginia. I think that may actually be the FBI headquarters, but what they're talking about is building basically a base where they will intercept electronic communications here domestically and spy on us. Beginning with the article, the FBI has recently formed a secretive surveillance unit with an ambitious goal to invent technology that will let police more readily eavesdrop on internet and wireless communications. The establishment of the Quantico, Virginia-based unit, which is also staffed by agents from the U.S. Marshals Service and the DEA, the DEA's back with this stuff, is a response to technological developments that FBI officials believe outpace law enforcement's ability to listen in on private communications. That's right. You've opened the Pandora's box of the internet, and now people are talking about freedom, people are talking about liberty, and the system is freaking out. They're scrambling to police the internet. They want to produce an internet kill switch, and now the FBI is creating a unit to help other agencies spy on us on the internet. One more article of news we're going to talk about regarding the Facebook IPO. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm coughing so much today. I'm a little bit sick. According to Bloomberg, Facebook banks have said to make $100 million on stabilizing the stock. Yeah, no kidding. So the banksters get to run away with all of our money that we put into this Facebook IPO, and we just end up with the short end of the stick. There goes our money. We just hand it right over to Facebook, and then they run away with it. This is the classic pump and dump, folks. And this article is by Lee Spears. It was posted on May the 23rd, 2012 at Bloomberg. Facebook underwriters for its initial public offering made gains of about $100 million through their work to stabilize the shares in public trading, said a person familiar with the matter. The gains will be shared by all banks on the IPO syndicate, said the person, who declined to be identified because the process was private. The process is private because the process is criminal. These are inside traders, and they should all be put into prison, along with Martha Stewart. Okay, our next item, very important news. Groups are concerned over arming of domestic drones. So the attack of the drones continues, and excuse me, they're talking about putting in rubber bullets on these drones and maybe giving them tasing technology so that local law enforcement can attack us. This is probably going to be used against protesters and against peaceful people. And this drone thing just keeps getting worse and worse, okay? First of all, they say, well, yeah, we're going to use the drones, but we're not going to spy on you. And then they say, oh, yeah, we are going to spy on you. We're going to look at you in your backyard with these drones. But we're just going to keep the information on file for 90 days just in case, just in case we need it, just like the cameras that the DEA is setting up in the Utah desert. And now, the drones aren't going to be armed, no problem there. And then they say, oh, well, yeah, we're going to arm the drones. It's just going to be rubber bullets. It's going to be non-lethal stuff. I mean, this is the slippery slope that we go on. Pretty soon, they're using the same type of drones on us that they use in Afghanistan to kill innocent people. And that is a news item that we're going to talk about here shortly. Okay, one of the judges on the TV show The Voice, his name's will.i.am. He turns up to a climate change debate in a huge gas-guzzling helicopter at Oxford. Excuse me. So, this is how stupid the climate change establishment at Hollywood is. They have no idea how much energy they're using, but they know that they believe in climate change and that they want to do something about it. And what's will.i.am doing about it? Well, will.i.am is showing up in a giant gas-guzzling helicopter in Oxford to have a debate. You know, anybody who thinks that will.i.am can debate himself out of a paper bag is an idiot too. I mean, this is the greatest educational institution probably in the world, Oxford University, inviting this milquetoast pop star to come and talk about climate change debate. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, folks. I mean, this is what Hollywood has given us. This is rock and roll, okay? What's more rock and roll than will.i.am supporting climate change and supporting Al Gore and Barack Obama? If you remember, will.i.am did a video for Barack Obama during his 2008 presidential candidacy. So he supports the president and he supports climate change. You know, what's more rebellious than that? What's more rebellious than supporting your president? Well, just about anything. Okay, my grandmother is more rebellious than will.i.am, and she's been dead for 11 years. So sorry, Grandma, but that's just the way it is. Okay, and I found another very interesting article. This is actually from April. It's at a place called ZDNet, and they have a column called Pulp Tech, written by somebody named Violet Blue. The name of this article is Google Helped with CISPA, Joins the Cybersecurity Theater. So what this is all about is, excuse me, how Google not only supports CISPA, but they helped create the legislation that later became CISPA. So that's right. Google's not only evil, they're super evil. Okay, and we are just going to go over a couple of other news articles here really quickly. Looks like the Bilderbergers, and Bilderberg's coming up here in Chantilly, Virginia within the next couple of days. They are going to be pushing a mandatory internet ID for Europe. So they want to take away your rights, and they want to tax the internet, and they want to track you when you get on the internet. So that's what the internet ID is all about. Bilderbergers are pushing for it. Today, and that's, let's see, InfoWars reported on that. Great article by Aaron Dykes, published on May the 23rd. It's called Bilderberg Demands Internet ID for All EU Citizens. In our next item, Leon Panetta today, on May the 27th, has said, according to National Journal and Beth Reinhardt, the U.S. is ready to stop Iran from creating nuclear weapons. So we are looking for any excuse we can to go after Iran, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that that happens. Okay, and what does that lead us to? Well, NATO airstrike has killed an Afghan family, and this is from BBC News in Asia. A provincial spokesman said a couple and their 6 children, died in an airstrike on Saturday in the village of Suri Khalil, Gurda Saria district. And this article kind of goes on to talk about how there's really no connection with anybody with these poor dead people here in Afghanistan. These guys aren't connected to Al-Qaeda or the Taliban, but they just died anyway, and it's not a big deal. What about, and then it goes on to talk about these service members that died in this other attack. That has nothing to do with the news story whatsoever. So way to go, BBC. Way to whitewash this drone attack on this innocent family. Real good reporting you're doing there. And according to the attack, that was on Syria, Damascus is not responsible for the Hula massacre that happened on Friday and Saturday this week. At least 92 people were killed in this attack. And let me just tell you, Al-Qaeda is responsible for this, okay? Al-Qaeda, which is a creation by the U.S. government. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll let you go ahead and research that claim, because I'm not going to get into that. They're the ones causing all these attacks in Syria, and we are going to swoop in like the White Knight and rescue the Syrians. This is how this always goes. We're going after Syria. We're going after Iran. So Nightwatchman News is going to keep an eye on these articles, and we are going to keep you informed on all of this information. Thanks a lot for tuning in to our broadcast, and I hope you have a wonderful day. We're going to keep hitting them hard, and we're going to promote freedom and liberty on the web. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you next week. I'm Michael Gillum. Bye-bye.